Hi, I'm Marty Nemko, the excellent mentor. I plan to offer the following tips in an upcoming talk on mentoring to graduate students and postdocs. The tips have broader relevance, so I thought I'd share them with you here. Mentoring usually begins with the would-be mentee asking a circumscribed question, for example, some small issue in their research. You may sense that some other problem is more important, but it's usually wise to start with the presented question. There's usually time later to ask about other matters. Usually, don't interrupt. Often a missive precedes the question. Not only might it be perceived as rude and invalidating, the person is often thinking as he or she speaks, and thus more evolved thinking and perhaps a more refined question occurs only at the end of an utterance. If you interrupt, you miss that. That said, the savvy listener makes a good guess as to when it is wise to interrupt. Occasionally, the speaker goes off on a tangent, maybe not quite knowing how to circle back, and welcomes your interrupting and refocusing with, for example, "So, you're saying X. Anything more you want to say or ask about that before I ask a follow-up?" Default to listening and asking questions to get solutions to come from the person. Your would-be mentee is probably ideationally fluent, who can, after explaining to you, often come up with a better solution than what you would offer, because they probably know themselves, the situation, what's realistic for them, and what they'd be motivated to do better than you do. Note changes of voice and body language. That may signal increased importance or anxiety. Beware the halo effect. It's easy to assume that because he or she is highly intelligent, it translates to practical knowledge. I know a brilliant PhD who succumbed to an expensive scam. We all know smart people who lack common sense or how to handle life's practicalities. If you're surprised at a gap in a person's knowledge, try to restrain showing that surprise and ask a question or make a suggestion. For example, you say you're thinking of spending Christmas in Tahiti. Did you know that the mosquitoes are bad then? Just because your would-be mentee is deeply involved in their career doesn't mean they lack personal interests, whether hobbies, where to live, or their relationships. Use your intuition as to whether you should ask about some aspect of his or her outside of work life. "So, you're married, how's it going?" For example, some high achiever's romantic partner would like more time together. It's also tempting to assume that because your would-be mentee is brainy, he or she doesn't feel deeply. If it seems right, ask questions like, "Well, how are you feeling about all this?" Provide reassurance. Smart people are often too hard on themselves. From childhood, they've been praised for their brilliance and efficacy. So they may have come to expect that they will always make good decisions. Listen for an opportunity to provide earned reassurance that even if they're a postdoc at a prestigious university, they will screw up and deserve to forgive themselves. See if there's a lesson to be learned, and then distract themselves by taking the next step forward. Very occasionally, a person needs the opposite of reassurance, a tough love kick in the ass. But that nuclear option should be held in reserve until your mental calculus is confident it's the wisest option. After you've sufficiently drawn the person out, consider asking something like, "So, in light of all that you've said, what might the wise one within you do?" If nothing promising emerges, and you might have a better idea, it may be time to ask, "May I suggest something?" Asking permission lets them retain some agency, even though the idea will come from you. That makes them more likely to act on your suggestion. Then you might ask something like, "In listening to you, I'm wondering if X might be a good idea. What do you think?" Finally, a little section here on getting mentored. We may wish someone would have taken us under wing, but it hasn't happened, so we may need to do the reaching out. Who's a person who's thoughtful, kind, and likely to help your career? Ask a circumscribed question, perhaps a problem you're facing as a TA. If you like their reaction, thank the person and perhaps ask something else, or even if there's something you can do to help him or her. Sometimes that's where the relationship ends, but make a few wise queries and you may find yourself even with a lifetime mentor, as I had with my doctoral advisor, Michael Scriven. We were friends for 45 years. May you have such a relationship. In any event, that's The Excellent Mentor. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 36 books. Perhaps most relevant to this is How to Do Life, but all 36 are on Amazon. In any event, I thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.